What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 10th day of February. And here we are sitting at about $69,000 with roughly 9 hours, 22 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. Yes, here we are sitting at $69,000. It's a low point. It is a low point. At one point, this low point was actually a high point. At one point, it was a high point. So we are actually right now finding support, I would say, at prior cycle highs. Not our last cycle's highs, but the cycle before that's highs. And I don't think this is a bad thing. I very much do believe that from this zone, we will recover and we will move higher. We'll probably get close to, but not above, $80,000 before moving down to the next zone. With that being said, it is completely possible and acceptable for the price to go below this low before that happens. More or less, what I'm expecting is that we're just going to be consolidating. And in that consolidation, can we see a lower low? Yes, we can. Consolidating with a slow movement up to this 80K area, where we will then find resistance, come back down. It'll probably be a very similar situation to this. I'm expecting a little bit more volatility, but we'll see. Time will tell. It's not going to be too exciting, and that's the message that I've been really trying to deliver over the past few days, is that while this was very exciting, nobody wants to see the price drop, but that was exciting. And then the price coming back up, that was also exciting, right? Very, very big moves in 2 days. Curb your enthusiasm, set your expectations the right way. We moved like this for like 2.5 months. We are not, just because 2 days were like this does not mean the next 2.5 months are going to be like that. They're more likely going to be like this. Boring days, very boring days with sudden shifts to the upside that get given back, with sudden shifts to the downside that get given back. We're basically going to move sideways for the next probably 2 months at this point. At least a month, at least 1 month, but probably 2 months, if not more. Looking at this on the short-term stuff, looking at the 1 hour time frame here and then zooming out from there, we have a little bit of bearish engulfing candle going on here. It's not quite engulfing yet, but 20 minutes left. I mean, that's a fierce pop to the upside, and now we're coming back down. The stock market just opened up like 9 minutes ago, so a little bit of volatility might happen. I don't know about you guys, but just looking at this here, flat base for support, looks like a double bottom. We broke out, and then we came back down, and harsh rejection tells me that this double bottom will not hold. It was a lie, and it got people to believe that lie at the top, so we probably do come lower. But there's still 20 minutes left. Let's wait and see how this hour closes. If this hour can close green, then good. That actually might imply that we are breaking out. If you're watching this video, because I'm not going to make this video for another 20 minutes, right? 19 minutes, 50 seconds to go. If you watch this video 20 minutes from now and we're green, or at the very least not this red, like we're somewhat more neutral, there might be a chance that we're breaking out and moving up here. I'm thinking, just looking at the price, it looks like we'd go down. The RSI certainly suggests that we would go down. The stochastics, the MACD, all of these indicators suggest that we go down. So I have no problem calling for lower prices. That's what I'm going to do. Plus, you look at the price action, the shape, the structure definitely does matter. And you see this kind of curving, right? You see the curving. Do you see it? Typically, mark my words, this is exactly what's going to happen. Whenever you see these curves, whenever you drop, you get a quick spike down. You get like a sudden spike down. That doesn't mean that we're going to go below this low. It doesn't mean that we can't. We certainly can still go below this low of $60,000. We absolutely can, and it wouldn't be too crazy if we did. But the main point is that from here, we're probably going to see a sudden shift down. Now, where does that shift end? Probably it will end above this low. We'll probably get a higher low at some point here. That's my expectation, and then recover. But if we see a lower low, that's okay too. And maybe the sudden shift happens. We get our higher low, and then it's a slower drop down to a slightly lower low, and then we get a sudden shift up. I don't know how it's going to look. It's not going to be that pretty or that ugly. However I draw it, it's probably going to be something different, right? From a low to a high here, not taking the fake out high, we have gone below the 236. We've tried, we've tested it a few times and hasn't held a support yet. Coming back down, likely going to go. I mean, the idea that we go to the 382 is possible, right? 67K and maybe even just below there, but that doesn't really seem appropriate for this curve, in my opinion. I think that we will see something a little bit more robust. I would think at least the 0.5, but probably more likely the golden ratio or lower. So 65.6K is a totally acceptable target. I'm going to go with 64.2 to 63.4K as the higher low target. And again, being that I'm expecting a quick stab down, it looks like we're breaking the structure now. Probably happens today. We got like 9 hours left in the day. We will probably see a 64 to $63,000 price probably some point today. And then from there, look to recover. If we don't recover, or if what we do instead is we find resistance here in this zone and then we come back down to this zone, likely we will go lower. And again, be very open-minded to lower lows. We can see prices around 55K, 57K. We're not that far away from this low. It's totally acceptable to go down here for an hour and then come back up, right? You're going to see some robust volatility if that happens. That's not the call, not at this point, but just it's something that we accept, and we won't have our feelings hurt if we go down there, right? Some people are like, this is it. That was the bear market low already, right? And like people are saying that, and it's like, okay, that's ridiculous. That's silly stuff. And maybe it is. If this is, and it's a possibility, but again, it's silly to say that now. It's very silly to say that now. If this is the bear market low, then I would again emphasize that we probably actually didn't have a bear market. This was just a really structurally breaking correction. It broke bull market structure, but it wasn't a bear market. I mean, what bear market exists for less than 6 months? Like that's crazy. You know, I mean, we didn't even drop 60%. Every Bitcoin bear market we've seen has dropped over 75%. It seems like something different. Really, what we're in, if this was the low, this would just be some giant psyop fake out. That would be crazy. And maybe we are in some type of super cycle, or this is a really short bear cycle. But I don't know. I'm getting caught up in these hypotheticals with my thinking, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to confuse myself or anybody else. I very much don't believe this is the end of the cycle. I very much do believe we have lower to go. I just don't think we're going to go too much lower right now. If we go lower right now, that's cool, but it won't be too much lower. We're in this zone. This is our low area, whatever. We're going to find support. We're going to come back up to this 80K area before we find resistance. And we likely consolidate in this range until at least April, if not May. And then we start to move down again. And I think we'll find our low, our true bear market low will come in Q3. Probably August is what I'm thinking. If not July, maybe September, probably August. Let's see. Oh, somebody said something. Let's just see. The market is a clown show. All your hopes and dreams are always a month away compared to technical analytics. I don't think that's in response to me, but somebody just said that in our Discord. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, the boys are just talking smack to each other. Anyways, $68.2 thousand. $68.2 thousand now. Looking at this here, daily time frame. The RSI, the stochastics, everything is beat up. We didn't even actually look at the 4-hour as far as indicators go. This to me looks like we'd go down, right? We've got this nice little higher low, higher high kind of dynamic. Maybe we find support right here. We've seen some blemishes to the downside, right? It's okay if we go lower. I wouldn't be surprised if we went lower. And again, be open-minded. I keep saying this. I'm not trying to be annoying with it. I'm just, again, trying to bring comfort to this idea, a rather uncomfortable idea for some people. If we get a lower close than this, if we do go below 64K, we could get a lower close. Maybe we get a double bottom. Maybe we get a slightly lower low, whatever. We close below this low here on a 4-hour basis. We're set up for some very nice bullish divergence on the RSI if that happens. MACD, stochastics, they're all bearish, man. They're all bearish. We're definitely going lower. I feel like there's a part of me that wants to call for lower lows. Like, genuinely. I feel like it's kind of obvious at this point, actually. But steps. Let's call for the next step. The next step is 64.2 to 63.4K. If this doesn't hold, if we stab through the zone, then with like 90% certainty, we likely hold 62.3 to 61.2K as support, and we'll see some volatility. If we drop through the golden ratio here, we will definitely see some volatility back to the upside. But that still doesn't mean that we can't go lower. There's a couple of interesting paths that'll play out before us, and I don't think that I need to make the call right now that we see a lower low or not. We're definitely open-minded to it. It's definitely something to consider. And if we do go lower, I don't think that we'll go to 53.7K. I think instead we'd find support somewhere between 55 and 57K. But again, for now, the call is just really somewhere between 64.2, 63.4 specifically, but on a more broad note, maybe 64.2 to 61.2K. I doubt if we go below this low, I doubt that we do it in one fell swoop. I would expect we either find support here and then come down, or we find support here and then come down. However it looks, we'll probably know ahead of time before we're below this low that we will go below the low. Does that make sense? All the indicators are bearish. There's no doubt that from here we're going to go lower, in my opinion. Daily RSI would also get bullish divergence if we close below that low. Stochastics would have bullish divergence. The MACD would have bullish divergence. So give it to us. Go ahead, do it. I dare you. I feel like I'm confident enough where I want to call for a lower low. The main reason I want to call for a lower low is because most of the times that we see moments like this where we consolidate, we move sideways, we get that lower low, and then that's whenever we move up, right? You're at the base of your range here. You are. If you bought here, it's not a problem. You did really good for yourself a month or two later, but the actual low came in later, right? Like you're at the base of your range here. That's great. If you called for the low here, you're not a dummy. You're definitely not a dummy, but it wasn't the absolute low. And it even went lower than that. We've seen these ranges where they're very sideways and very boring, and at the end of a downtrend, right? At the end of a downtrend here, and we get these slightly lower lows. So calling for it here wouldn't actually be too crazy, but I don't know. All the semantics, man. I've got nothing else to say. I feel like I'm running in circles, so I'm going to end it there. On the weekly time frame, we're definitely generating some positive momentum. Well, we're generating some positive divergence here with the weekly MACD. But I think that there will be months of time before this is actually playing out to the positive effect. We're probably still going to go lower at some point in late Q2 or Q3. We will likely see prices below this low. Until then, sideways, choppy, volatility, range bound between something around 60K, 55K at the low end, and 79, 77K at the high end. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.